Welcome everyone to Center for Spiritual Living, Grants Pass. This is officially fall now. We had an autumn equinox, and so that is in the Native American Indian tradition. It's fall is a time of endings. Okay, and so we celebrate every season. And so we're going to do the first song today is, as you know, I come from, I was a Lutheran organist, and there are many tunes that just, are just so beautiful. And this tune, I don't know that the tune was Lutheran, but we did it in the Lutheran church. And so this titled Creation, and it is, you'll know the tune, it's the tune All Through the Night. So I think you'll enjoy this. Okay, so here's one. This is the changing of the season. So this is the tune. Do you know this one? I can change anything, turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, it's everything changes, and I can change too. So that's just a little lesson, okay? So we'll keep it on there. So, okay, here we go. Oh, wait, I've got drums. Stop life's little stages are teaching me anything, 'cause everything changes, and I can change too. Everything changes, I can change anything, turning the pages, everything's new. If life's little stages are teaching me anything, 'cause everything changes, and I can change too. Everything changes, and I can change too. Everything changes, and I can change too.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your senior minister. We're so glad that you made this your spiritual destination for the morning. And we have something incredible planned for you. So you're in the right place. You made it. Relax. Enjoy. There's a lot of things that are going on at this center. And wow, what a whirlwind of activity we are. Isn't it? So we're going to start with reciting our vision mission statement, which brings us all together as a community, which says, we are an open, loving, spiritual community dedicated to evolving consciousness through teaching spiritual principles. We're so glad that you're here this morning. I have a few announcements, so settle in. I got 3 pages of announcements. Only kidding. They're in 20 points, so I don't have to put my glasses on. But I wanted to start with we all received a postcard, and this is from Alyssa, who used to sit over here. She came for several months with her husband, and then she took our one of our classes, and of course demonstrated, and went to Alaska to learn how to do mushing with sleigh dogs, you know. And she sends us a card, says, hi all, sending love and many blessings to all my GPCSL family from Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska. I'm mushing dogs now and will be deckhand for whale watching tours for September and October. Life is amazing and I am so blessed. Thank you all for your prayers and love, sending it all back and hoping you are all very well. So I'll just put this up on the bulletin board so you can get a closer look at her with her mush dogs. But you know, that's what happens when you get this teaching. All of a sudden your dreams start coming true and you just, that's what it's all about. You know, I love it when people leave because it means that they're going out and living their true life. But I love it when they come back and share it with us, right? So last week we had our annual meeting, and I want to thank everybody that showed up to participate in that, and for especially you members who gave us our quorum. We had over 50%. You know, to have a quorum, you have to have, I think it's 20% of your number, you know, that are members, and we were way over. We were 50%. So it's great to know that we have dedication in our community. Your presence made our meeting a success. I want to just thank the outgoing board members, Paula Peterson and Nancy Yonley, who have served this center for years and years and years. And I just want to give them they're not here today, but give them the thank you that they, you know, they put a lot of hours in and do a lot, and they will continue to do a lot for us. I just wanted to give them a shout out. And I'd like to introduce our new board. Now, not everyone is here, but we have a new board. First off, I would like to introduce you to practitioner Jamaica Wallace, who is our new president, and she's back at the table. We're very blessed to have her. Wendy Orsat, who is not here, is our vice president. Let's hear it for Wendy. She's the one that had the board, you know. Oh, she's on the Zoom. Yes. Hi, Wendy. She's waving, I'm sure, but she had the piece of wood that said she wanted to be on the board. I love it, I love it.
She's saying hi.
Creative,
She's
creative
waving.
genius. Oh, she's so everybody waving, okay. She can't see any of you, but I can see for her. Everyone's waving to you. And then we have a new treasurer, Shirley Bayette. Yay, Shirley! A new secretary, who is Nicole Brown. She's not
Hey,
here this
Nicole.
morning,
She's on
but,
Zoom.
oh, she's on Zoom? Nicole, we have a new secretary. And our member at large, Guy. And I'm also on the board. I'm still Reverend Steve. And we just, we're so blessed to have people that step forward to be on our board, because if we didn't, we would be recruiting you to come and be on our board, because we have to have a board. That's part of our bylaws. So, and just on another note, with this new board, part of my dedication is for the new board to understand how to work together and how to read financials. You ever read financials for a nonprofit organization? Their profit and loss and balance sheets, and you know, Cindy, God bless her, she keeps us on task by producing all those. And I have my mentor, who is Dr. Chris Collins from Sanctuary for Spiritual Living down in Covina, who's my mentor. She actually was here when I was, what do they call it when you introduce your new minister to the congregation? I was installed.
Installation.
I was installed. You know, you hear that click, you're installed, right? So, and also, this is the October Science of Mind magazine. These just came out. These are hot off the presses. They're still in the box. They're getting them out of the bookstore. But on the back is Dr. Chris with her husband, because she's now on the archives board. And there's a little blurb on there about how she loves Ernest Holmes, and she's continued the Asilomar that I speak at every year. But there's a little thing on the back for you, just to introduce you to Dr. Chris and what she does. But she came and spent 3 days with us last week at her own expense to educate our board and help us. Well, Cindy doesn't need an education, but we need an education on what Cindy's doing. And it's just wonderful that we're all working together and learning together, because that's what makes a board work, is communication and knowledge. If you don't have communication and knowledge, then you're just part of the wallpaper. But we're no longer part of the wallpaper, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Chris and to our board and to Cindy for all coming together and spending time together, because it's gonna help us rock. Anyway, it's called Good Stewardship. Community celebration on October 2nd. Sunday, October 2nd, we'll be honoring our newly licensed practitioners with a small ceremony during our service. This will be followed by a celebration of food and fellowship after service, and we hope you can all be there. We have 2 brand new practitioners, Janice Garibay and Jamaica Wallace, are brand new practitioners, and we're going to gift them with their stoles and their name badges and their certificates. So we hope that you can come next Sunday and be part of our experience there. New class is forming. Practitioner Treasure Wiley will begin a new class starting Thursday, October 13th from 6 to 8:30, The Journey of the Soul. We have all had mountaintop experiences of spiritual understanding. How do we expand and reinforce these experiences, even when we are presented with stress, frustration, and possibly tragedies? In this certificated course, we will learn practical ways to use meditation, emotional healing, and self-love to dramatically change how we respond to life challenges. These tools will equip us to live in greater peace, fulfillment, and meaning. Classes being taught by practitioner Treasure Wiley, assisted by new practitioner Jamaica Wallace. This should be a fun class. And they'll meet right here at GPCSL on 13th at 6 p.m. At the first class, they'll talk about if there should be a change in time or anything. So just so you know that's coming up, please sign up at the back. There's a clipboard on the back table, or if you want to call, if you're online, or look for Tresia's email online, and you can send her a note just saying you're interested in the class. Next week, potluck. Favorite fall comfort foods next week. Ooh, that sounds fun. So we're having a potluck next Sunday. Please bring your fall comfort food. So whatever that means to you, you know, if that's macaroni and cheese or soup or whatever. So we're gonna break bread. We break bread every Sunday, if you noticed. Activities Fundraising Committee. Are you interested in supporting our fun social events like game night, dinner and a movie, and our Christmas dinner? We are starting up a social activities committee at GPCSL, and we'll be combining our social activities group with our fundraising group. Makes sense. And they're going to be one committee. Our first meeting will be held after service next Sunday at about noon, depending on when our celebration stops, right? So please join us so that we can create new things together and support our wonderful center. Wendy Orsat, who is our vice president of the board now, will be heading up this group, and Chris Strong will be assisting. And we need your help in creating ideas for fundraising and fundraising for our center. So please come. If you have questions, please see Jamaica, myself, Wendy, or Chris. And as normal, our metaphysical book study is still going on Sundays from 9 to 9:45 right here in the conference room. Please join us. We're studying, what is it? This thing called, Living the Signs of Mind. Yeah, that's that other big book that Ernest Holmes wrote that explains what the Signs of Mind means. So, and that is it for our announcements. Why don't we stand as Lauren leads us as we sing "We Are One."
A monitor back there.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's read the gratitude together, which is up on the screens. I am deeply grateful for my resilient nature. When something's not working, I choose again, and so it is. So happy autumn, everyone. If you're like me, you're so grateful for the blue skies and the cooler weather and the changing colors on the trees. Fall is a pretty beautiful season. They're all in their own way. What?
And the rain.
And rain. Yeah, let's keep that going. Welcome to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Deborah Perdue, and I'm one of the practitioners here, and it's my honor to be here and serve you. we have practitioner, as you know, our new board president and practitioner Jamaica Wallace at the table. And she is there to take prayer requests from you, to lead you to another practitioner to have a short affirmative prayer, or she may be able to do it herself. And she's also holding the high watch, which means just encircling this room and the Zoom people and everyone with love and light and peace and joy. Thank you, Jamaica. There's quite a few different ways to send prayer requests. One is the yellow sheet that's behind, in front of you on the seats. Where's my visual example? So there's this, and you can put that in the prayer box in the back or put it in the offertory. And these are for when things manifest that you've asked for prayer for. We love to hear about those as well. You can also go to grantspasscsl.org and put in a prayer request there. And we love to pray with and for you. And it can be for something more good. It doesn't have to just be for something that you're sad about. We love to pray and we love to watch the demonstration streaming in, which happens. So use us. The flowers are from Priscilla. Thank you, Priscilla. And I want to say that during COVID, after we started up, I ended up bringing flowers almost every week. And now we have all these flower angels signing up, and it's just a joy. So thank you to the people who signed up, including Priscilla. Is anyone here for the very first time? If you are, please raise your hand, and Steve has a welcome packet for you, Reverend Steve. I think I recognize everyone here. So glad you're back to the newer people, and it's just such a beautiful place, and I'm glad you appreciate it too. If you haven't already, please silence your cell phones. And it's time to read the prayer on the screens. I lean into wonder and trust in the greatness of God. My life is filled with creativity and positivity, and with change, I naturally find greater purpose in my life. And so it is. Please remain seated as we sing together, I Am Loved. It's time for our time of silence after I do a short reading for you. And this is from day 24 of my newest book, Daily Gratitude Reflections, Volume 2. And then I added a little bit to it as well. It is said, and I believe, that when one door closes, another opens. How thankful I am that I'm willing to enter new territory, even when I've never ventured there before. I am supremely grateful for the courage, inner strength, and resilience I possess. It bites me well when the old and familiar is over and it's time to move on. I can accept it and feel trust that I am supported, guided, and always taken care of. Here's the affirmation. I am deeply grateful for the resilience that comes from knowing God is in charge, not me, and I can trust that every situation is filled with purpose. So I invite you in our meditation time this morning to bring to mind a time in your life, maybe lately or maybe farther behind, where one door closed in your life and then another opened. And feel gratitude for your own resilience, inner strength, and courage. So let's go into the silence now for a minute or two, and I'll bring you back when it's time. Please get comfortable and get back into your chair, and feel grounded, and open your eyes when you are ready. Thank you.
I'm gonna go with the bathroom.
And so it's time for some special music by Laurel and Reverend Stephen's talk. Thank you.
I want you to know that I pray for the right song to do right here to be supportive of Reverend Steve's message. This is a poem by Rumi, put to music by Heather Hutton, friend of mine. How beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in grass, the world is too full to talk about. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. How beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. How beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field, I'll meet you there. When the soul
that's beautiful. I haven't heard that song before. It's kind of an original song by one of our artists from Medford, right?
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Telephone. Hello? Is that God calling? Sounded like one of those bells on the bicycle, the old bicycle bells. Well, this is our final installment this week of our talk on work. And I think it's Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, it's Rosh Hashanah, right?
Yes.
And that's like 3 days of forgiveness for you to be in a forgiveness modality and be open to those that are seeking forgiveness too. It's one thing to be, forgive me of my challenges, but I don't want to forgive anybody else. It goes both ways. That's what forgiveness is all about, being forgiving. Well, my talk today is failing forward. When I saw it, I was like, falling forward, they left an L out, right? But it's failing forward, because whenever we fail, we think we take, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. But if you actually look at when you have failed, you've actually moved forward. Because if you're open, you learn something from falling. You learn something about how not to fall. This is what, as children, when we learn to crawl and then we learn to walk, we do some falling, don't we? We fall down. In many circumstances and situations, failure can be part of our experience. It is what can happen in life. But what a person chooses to do with the experience of failure is called resilience. Because if you fall in one way, usually you don't fall that way too many times. You start to figure out how to get your foot in the right place for balance. Or in life, you learn not to do what caused you to fail again. Sometimes we repeat our challenges over and over, don't we? You go, I thought I dealt with this. I thought I handled this. And you find yourself right back in the midst of some challenge because there's something more to know. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that you're growing. Look at any successful person and ask them about their failures. And they'll probably say, sit down, it's quite a story.
Yeah.
Because that's part of success, is understanding our failures. Sometimes all we need to find success, the elusive solution and creative ideas, is a little push at the hands and the heart of wonder. I wonder why that worked out the way it did. I wonder how success happens. Somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm like, better and better. How are you doing? Better and better. And they all go, oh, wow, that's a good response. I'm like, that may not be exactly what's going on, but that's what I want to have happen. I want it to be better and better. Work is an extension of one's passion for life. And if you're retired, you probably wonder how you ever fit work into your day because you're so busy now. How did I ever fit work in? But retirement is also work in that there's things to do. To have this body in this plane of existence, you still have to be a light to the world and pay your light bill. It's hard to be a light to the world when you can't pay your light bill. Been there, done that. But now that's one of those little things. Paying the light bill is easy when you know how to manifest, right? When looking within the container of an office or a company or a factory or a boardroom or a break room, these words make up the operational fabric of the workplace. Stay in line, do your job, get there on time, produce your work on time. If you have a deadline, don't miss your deadline. But we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we are living out this spiritual experience in this world 365 days a year, 24/7. You're never not spiritual. Well, let me just say, you're never not having the opportunity to pick spiritual choices. Doesn't mean that we're always in the midst of it, right? Sometimes we forget. Sometimes something happens where something is a failure and we get upset. That's because we have this thing called expectation. You know, we want things to be a certain way, don't we? You know, we want people to kind of be where they're supposed to be when we expect them to be there, don't we? When we're going to have lunch with somebody, we want them to be there at the prescribed time, not keep me waiting. Because we expect them to show up and pay the bill. Or not. Or Dutch brothers. So the work we do also contains less obvious spiritual elements of meaning and meaningfulness, good and goodness, challenges and triumph, and life. And the work we do in the world is about more than a result or an outcome. It's not if we lose, win or lose, it's how we play the game. Or as they say, good form. Good form, you know, like you can win, but if you win in good form, you know, it was a good move, nice move, well played, my friend, right? You want your life to be well played, don't you? Don't you take that extra second to look at all of your options? Or do you just jump at the first one that comes up? Well, it depends how desperate I am to have the demonstration. It depends, you know, if you need to pay that light bill, you're pretty much going to take the first $5 that comes along, right? Well, this week is an invitation to embark upon an adventure in spiritual practice of finding the good in the work that we do. Whether you are retired or working at a job, you have a job to do. How do you know if you have a job to do? Do you have a body? You could all say, yeah, let me check. Yeah, I still got a body. If you have a body, you have some forgiveness work to do. Oh, grand, isn't it? You either need to be here to be forgiven, or you have some forgiveness of someone else to do. Because that's why we're here. We are here to rub up against each other and to push each other's buttons. Right? Now, somebody may push your buttons, but my dad would always say, well, who installed them? You know, they may be pushing your buttons, but if we don't know who installed them, that's on you. Because if you didn't have a button to push, they wouldn't be pushing. This can be done through the revelation of everyday wonder. Bringing wonder into everyday tasks and every project you do, every experience you have, starts by taking every opportunity to do all the good that we can in the world. Our unique perspective finds its origin in all the lessons that life has taught us. From those lessons and experiences, we determine what is good and bad and what works and what doesn't work. You know, it is the doom of man that he forgets. You know, a certain amount of time goes by, we forget what happened, and then we make the mistake again. Or we remember and we don't go down that road anymore. We can all look at failure as a negative event or as an opportunity to go in a new direction. That's what we need to use our failures for. We need to encourage failure, because then you know how not to do it. New perspectives, new considerations, ideas, revelations, and insights that become available through so-called failure are amazing if we're willing to trust and lean into the wonder of the failure. If we just fail and then we don't attempt to make it right, we lock in our failure. It's just like in the stock market, when it goes down and you say, oh, it's going down, I'm going to pull my money out. Well, then you lock in your failure. You're in here for the long haul. You got to let it ride. You got to look away. Don't check that balance every 5 minutes. You know, is it coming back? Is it swinging back? Are we on an upward? Let it go. Let it go. So wonder invites us to create positive change, no matter what the situation. Now, this is not to say that when something challenging happens to you, you just go, oh, this is part of my growth. This is so awesome, because it hurts. When someone we love makes their transition, it hurts us. We miss them. But we have to love them enough to let them go. They're off tripping the light fantastic, man. We don't want to keep them earthbound because we want them here. I mean, that's pretty selfish. You know, they're on their trip. We have to honor their trip, don't we? It doesn't mean I don't miss those people. It means that whatever they're doing, I bless them on that trip. As long as there is a reason to move, to grow, and to shift, there is a potential for the ongoing search for purpose, passion, and a larger contribution to society. I've got a couple quotes from Ernest Holmes. This is from his book, The Power of an Idea, from 1965. Many people wonder why they fail, and they continue to fail. A sense of failure is only the psychological and emotional reaction we have to experiences which are negative. So, this is me. So the feeling of being a failure is only a reaction. What if we saw our failures as part of what moves us in a new direction that will get us to where we want to go? Then I believe that we are only a failure when we don't keep trying to get it right. We've got to continue, you know, when you've all heard the term sin, right? Sin, if you're a sinner. Well, in this teaching, S-I-N is an old archery term. So if you take an arrow and you go to hit the bullseye and you didn't hit the red in the middle, if it was anywhere, maybe you didn't even hit the target, that was called a sin. You missed the mark. Well, what does a good archer do if they miss the mark?
Do it again.
Pull another arrow and check it again, because that miss helped you to find where the bullseye was. You'll get even closer to the bullseye. And in our particular teaching, sin, my interpretation is S-I-N, self-induced nonsense. We beat ourselves up, don't we? Oh, I could have done that better. Oh man, I failed. You failed forward though. You fail forward when you take out how it didn't work and don't do that again. If you continue to make the same silly mistake over and over again, that's on you. How do you hold yourself in energy when you've made a silly mistake? When you've spilt the milk in your life? You moved the decimal point one more over in your checkbook and you have a little less than you thought. Or maybe you have more and you beat yourself up. Oh man, I'm so silly. We got to stop that stinking thinking. Don't beat yourself up. You know who your biggest critic is? You. What's been the common denominator in all your failings? You, yeah, okay. Just getting clear. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, failure does not mean the loss of something. Failure occurs only if the loss of that thing takes our enthusiasm, takes our courage, our zest for life, our faith, our conviction, and our happiness from us. That is failure indeed. Again, that's from The Power of an Idea by Ernest Holmes, 1965. So, how do you hold yourself when you spilt the milk? You've made some silly little mistake. Oh, you get all, you spin out? You ever spin out? Like, we do. We get mad with ourselves. But we should get glad with ourselves that we have found a way that it doesn't work. You know how many tries it took to get the light bulb to get figured out? He made like hundreds of light bulbs until he figured out how the filament would work. So if he had stopped after his first try or first several tries, we'd still be sitting in candlelight here. Now, I think that somebody would have figured it out by this time, and someone has. We have this new thing called LED lights, right? It's so great. I can have an app on my phone and I can turn off my kitchen light from anywhere in the world. I love doing that. I love just, you know, knowing that the dogs are trying to figure out who's turning lights on, you know. So that takes me to my 3 talking points for this talk. First is redirection. Better and blessed. We all experience success and failure in life. It's part of our experience. Just as life teaches the lessons, not how to succeed, to go to one's head, we are wise not to allow our failures to consume our hearts. Don't let your success go to your head. Don't get, you know, big-headed about your success. But don't let your failures keep you back either. Know that oftentimes things don't always go as planned. And that is part of the life experience. You know, we so don't want things to not go as planned, right? You want that flight to be there, not get canceled. You want the people in your life to be where they're supposed to be. Roll with the changes, man. REO Speedwagon, roll with the changes. For you old 70s rockers. Yeah. Roll with the changes, man. It's a great song. We need to roll with the changes a little bit easier. When something comes before us that's not working out, don't curse it, bless it. I used to go, oh God, bless it. In that split moment, the words we choose dictate how our energy is going to go. And if we're sucked into the vortex of negativity, we will put dams in our life. We dam the energy flow. We stop the flow of good and the energetic of love. And when we do that, everything stagnates. And then we look at what the problem is. And I've been standing on my own air hose. And I wonder why I can't breathe. And then I remove my foot and I can breathe again. I said, who stepped on my air? Oh, never mind. It was me. Roll with the changes. Wise, spiritual-minded people understand how to fail forward. That failing is part of your success. Fail forward, which means don't give up. When things don't work out, it just means that there's a different way. Things need to go the way they need to go. You just got to find that way. And you have found one of the ways that it doesn't go. Don't stop there. Keep inventing and finding ways that it won't work out. Get you closer to the ways that it will. When failure seems inevitable, the secret to moving forward is cultivating your sense of everyday wonder. Let wonder be your guide and your constant companion, because with wonder as your new attitude, you can never fail. there is no failure. You just wonder how you got this far with failing so much. I'm like, wow, I'm failing pretty good. I know how absolutely not to do this. The truth about failure is that it doesn't mean that we are flawed, or it does not validate, or it is not valid that your dream isn't good enough. Failure means that there's something to be learned, something to be gained, something new to be understood, or a course correction is necessary. You know that that's not the way. That didn't get you to the result you wanted. So change the modality. Don't curse the way. We spend so much energy cursing what didn't work. We don't have enough energy to find out what does. A different direction is calling you. Have you ever been on the phone with a company and it's like your 17th time to call them about this challenge, and they put you on hold again, and you're like, that's a sign from the universe that there's another way. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone and say a little prayer. God bless us, everyone, including that wonderful person on the end of the phone. Maybe there's a new insurance you need to have. Maybe there's somebody that does want to work with you. The no is not a no. It's a not right now, not that way. It's exciting when you get a no. It means you're closer to a yes. In short, failure points to the possibility that there is always something more to know, something better and new. A new blessing is ahead of you. How powerful is that? If every failure you could go, oh, that's awesome. I am closer to my dream because I failed. Now, that's not how we always see it. If that was the case, it would be a whole different world, wouldn't it? But that's why I'm here, is to tell you that if we can at least smile upon ourselves when we made some silly mistake, when you spilt the milk in your life, you did something silly, you take a picture of it to remind you of how creative you can be. Look, I messed that up better than anyone. Look at that. I don't even know how that fell out of my hands. I remember I broke something in my kitchen once. I dropped this dish. I was so mad at myself. And then I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be glad when I do stuff like this. Oh, yay, yay. I was cleaning it up, and I was finding pieces of this dish underneath other places where I don't even know how it could bounce there. I'm like, how did that even happen? I'm going to take a picture of that because I don't even know how that works. But you're creative. Let your creativity guide you. Number two, second, a new thing, an opportunity. Have you ever considered that failure is an opportunity that shows up at just the right moment? Do you welcome failure? No, we don't. We're like, I shouldn't have gone down that one-way street the wrong way. I learned how to turn my car around really fast. It can be a chance to rejuvenate and to come back even stronger with better reasoning and understanding. Often, the next time around, it's easier to attain the goal and the desired outcome because you know how to go. You know how not to go. You know when you're on the right track because you've done all the other tracks and they haven't worked. Because you are now in a different energetic. You have put yourself in the energy of the solution. The attraction is magnetic. The law of attraction is so powerful that when you align yourself with what you choose to be, do, and have, there is nothing in the universe more powerful than a mind that has made up its mind to be, do, or have something. You know these people. They're bulldozers in your life. They come in, they don't even know if you're there or not. They're doing their thing. They are go-getters. They're gonna get it done. You know people like this? That's how we have to be with the things we want to demonstrate in our life. The challenge with work is that we have a million opportunities to fail, but you might get it right. What if you succeed? And of course, this is all being done publicly, so we want to, gracefully have a fall. Oh, whoops. When you fall down, you want to do it gracefully. You want to have good form, don't you? There's no way to fall up a curb gracefully, I'll tell you that right now. How does one bounce back from a significant failure? How do you do it when some loved one has made their transition and has hurt your heart? And there's a process to that. There's a process in grieving, in experiencing that loss and embracing it. You know, it's when we deny it that we get into challenge where it can take a long time. And, you know, grief is going to take as long as it takes. You can't say, well, if you were in a relationship for 2 years, then you're going to grieve for a year. That's the math equation. You're going to grieve half the time that your experience was. That's just somebody's coming up with no nonsense, like that's what it was for them. Your grief process is yours. Don't put a time on it. It's going to take as long as it takes. And be okay with that. Be okay with the things that didn't work out in your life, because that means that there's other things that can. How do you treat yourself when you made that silly mistake? One way is to get to know the parts and pieces of your failure and allow each part to teach you. You know how to make this even better. And it shortens the time of your failures in the future, because you don't have to go down that street anymore. You know there's a pothole on that street. You don't fall into the pothole. You know, if you know there's a pothole, you know to drive around it. Maybe even you go down a different street. But if you forget each time that there's a big pothole on that street and you get in it each time, you're going to the store, oh, there it is, there's that pothole again, then we haven't learned from it, right? At least learn to drive around it or go on a different street. So failure is not fatal unless you believe it is. No matter how hard it may feel, stay willing to understand that failure may simply mean that there is another opportunity just around the corner. Take this opportunity to wonder about what could be, and then allow it to be so in your life. Keep your eye on the prize, not on the challenge. If worry could have healed anything, the world would be a different place. Worry is concentrating on what's not working. And if energy flows where our attention goes, that's the science of this teaching, then we are constantly creating what doesn't work if that's where our attention is. So what is working in your life? What do you want? You know what you don't want. Don't point at what you don't want, because you're sending energy there and holding it in place. Now, again, this is not to deny some challenge that you may have walked through, because when something happens, we need to spend time processing through it. You can't go over it, you can't go under it, you can't go around it, you've got to go through it. And you just never know how long it's going to take. But if you can give it over to the divine, it's going to take as long as it takes, but at least you know you've got an energy working with you. If you're trying to handle it yourself, it's like trying to create electricity. Do you create electricity? Did Ben Franklin create electricity with the kite and the key? No, he discovered it. Almost sent him into the next dimension, because you don't mess around with lightning and keys on a kite in a storm. He found that out real quick. But in that, he found out how to harness it. so that we can go up and plug in the vacuum rather than getting shocked. Third point, bounce back, be resilient. Sometimes the lesson of failure is not to make success certain, but to show us how to fail. There are always ways to fail with grace, with sincerity and possibility. A single instance of failure can teach more than a lifetime of success. Think about that. If you can take a failure and go, you know what, I really learned a lot from that. You are wise. You are powerful because you've learned from your experiences. Like I said, it is the doom of the human condition that we forget, and then we repeat our challenges. And we think, I thought I was further along than this. That sense of wonder allows a person to detach from the outcome and explore with greater curiosity and trust as the process unfolds. Be happy in the journey, not the destination. You know, part of vacationing is getting ready for the vacation, is planning the vacation, is anticipating the vacation. You know, getting those Hawaiian shirts all pressed, and, you know, your shorts, making sure you got, you know, swim shorts if you're going somewhere where you can go swimming. You know, that's all part of the vacation. There is a hidden element of resilience that accompanies failing. Each failure offers feedback if you're open to that discovery. The work of doing work is the willingness to continue to move forward, even when things don't happen according to plan. And as a spiritual practice, wonder can show you the divine plan behind and within everything. It can make the distance between where you are and where you want to go that much more exciting. Your life is exciting. You know, we just want to get there. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, we're not there. We're never going to get there. Your life is getting there. That's our whole experience, is the journey. Because when you get somewhere, you want to go somewhere else. When you get to your vacation, you want to go to the beach. You want to go in the jacuzzi. You want to fill in the blank. What is your, you want to take that nature walk. So in conclusion, there is potentially more to gain from failure than there is to lose. Failing forward in your work and play means that you're growing, you're being productive, and you have a willingness to adapt. You're open to change. You smile at challenges and go, oh, I'm going to learn something new. Can you do that? Beloved, go forward knowing success and failure are akin to one another. The real work is determining what's next for you. And wonder allows a person to move beyond the stigma of failure into the wonder of what if? What if it does work out? What if it does happen? Not about what if it doesn't. No matter what, keep going and don't give up. And so it is. Time for our prayer time. So if you'd like to just take a moment and bring to the forefront of your consciousness what you choose to believe the power that created you is. What is the power that created your life, your experience, your greatest yet to be? And as we begin to unify in that field of all opportunity, yes, there is a field between right and wrong. And I will meet you there and we will dance. We will experiment in life. and have a well-lived life experience. Now, I don't know what your experience is today, what your situation is, but I know God knows your situation. And as we turn our awareness to what we choose to believe that the power of creation is to us, we invite the miracle of wholeness, of love, and of divine right action into everything that we are. And because we are as the energy of the solution naturally comes forward. The answer is right where you are. And as that answer comes, let's smile upon ourselves, knowing that we are here for a beautiful reason. And that reason is just being alive. You are already doing exactly what you were brought here to do. So let's bless our experiences. Good, bad, indifferent. Something powerful is happening because you are alive, awake, alert, and aware. So we claim that awareness. We claim the love of the divine in every situation. And we are all well blessed. With an attitude of gratitude, we give great thanks for this time, this space, and this place, and we let go. We completely release this word directly into the living, loving law of mind, for it is already done. And it is in that release that the answers come, that the miracles present themselves, and we realize we are the miracle we've been waiting for. As we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Well, it's time for our offertory ideas about sharing. So let's read this together. Put your hand on your heart and your gift in your hand. With a generous heart, I give freely, sharing my wealth and abundance. And so it is. Lord?
Another 70s tune, isn't it? Color My World by
Color My
Chicago.
World. Oh, thank you for that. Well, let's say a blessing upon our offertory this morning, shall we? From the love of pure spiritual energy, these tithes and gifts have been collected. They're evidence of our faith, our belief, and our ability to manifest in this world of form. They do good work in this world, and they bless the giver and the receiver. They allow this Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living to be open and available, teaching love and truth to all who choose to remember who they are, and even those that may not know that yet. And for this, everyone is blessed. And so it is.
So it is.
Well, it's time for our song. So let's stand up and sing some music. And now for the benediction, please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It's happening in my mind,
It's happening in my mind,
in my body,
in my body,
and in the body of my affairs.
in the body of my affairs.
I think it,
I think it,
I feel it,
I feel it,
I know it,
I know it.
just the way that it is,
Just the way it is,
and just the way that it is not.
just the way it is.
Thank you, life.
Thank
Thank you.
Have an awesome week, everybody. God bless.